الاستثمارية القادمة عن STC. إذا عندك مشكلة STC طلعوا شيء اسمه STG Solution. فرحبوا معي بسعادة الأستاذ طلال البكر نائب الرئيس STC Solution Cloud Services. أستاذ طلال تفضل. بيج هاند يا شباب. اللي صفق بياخذ شريحة جوال.
السلام عليكم.
سام حياك.
كليكر الله يعافيك.
كليكر عفوا.
السلام عليكم. Well, it was a very interesting session about Snapchat. I don't consider myself a millennial, but I'm using Snapchat more and more as days progress. So thank you. So it was very enticing. I especially like the Game of Thrones thing because I think I'm an avid fan. People keep telling me I should read the books, but I wish I had the time. So I'm just waiting for them to get the presentation ready. So how's Arabnet so far? Are you finding it up to expectations? Is it really living up to what you expect, or is it still a progression or a work in progress? Any feedback? Anything? Okay. Okay, good, because the silence was killing everybody, I think. So thank you very much. The presentation I'm going to go into is actually what we're seeing the industry evolving into with regards to marketplaces. So why are marketplaces important? Marketplaces are continuing to change and evolve. And so if we're going to evolution, don't worry, I'm not going to talk about apes. The evolution of what we see today is things changing through the progression of time, through different generations. And as we see the different marketplaces evolve, we're seeing a lot of different changes. So today, the inception of marketplaces actually started with Apple. And it was a shift in the way we analyze and we address applications. Actually, if you look at it and you analyze the whole industry of mobiles, the inception of Apple and their building of a marketplace was very crucial because it ensured that they would win the mobile war in that different phase. If we all remember Nokia and we remember the different phones around that time, Ericsson and so on, they did not progress because their concept about providing applications was not evolved enough. And that's where the idea of marketplaces really evolved. It changed the whole progression about the market and how things would be working. So what we're seeing right now is marketplaces have been here for around 10 years. Apple iPhone has been around for around 11, and we've been accustomed to using them in a specific way. But again, what we're facing right now is a standardization and a sort of commoditization of marketplaces. So marketplaces today have been running in a way that we're very comfortable with, that has been consistent for the last 10 years. What's the evolution? Where do we see things changing? Now, the evolution of marketplaces is an inevitability. It's an inevitability because digital worlds are changing, the way we address applications are changing, and the way people want to consume different applications, different services, is evolving, and it's progressing at an agile rate. And to do that, we have to start thinking of things in a different manner. And also, to do that, we have to start to address the different needs in different ways. So today, this is a basic look at what a marketplace looks like. So you have your ERP systems, you have your different applications, you have your different solutions, and you go and you select whatever you want to address whatever you need. But is it enough? Now, we've had some experience with marketplaces, and what we've found is the concept of a marketplace that was innovated 10 years ago is no longer viable. We need to take it to the next level. And the industry has been following up on that aspect and also showing us that things need to evolve in a different way. So what's the new era for marketplaces today? We need to bring innovative solutions to marketplaces to really open up their capabilities and expand their aspects and their functionality to a different layer. So one of the most important aspects is we need to have applications integrate together. So today, all of us have mobile phones. We have multiple applications. One very important aspect is they don't really integrate together in the right way. You can allow one application to get authentication from another application, but there is no data sharing between applications. What does that mean? That means we have silos of applications within our mobile phone. Wouldn't it be better, instead of having all these different silos, to have them intercommunicate with data and share those information instead of having just authentication access? That's where the evolution is going. So cloud marketplaces are evolving in this way. And they're changing into the aspect of how do we integrate these different applications together so that they're not working in isolated silos, but they're working in collaborative setups. Now, to do that, there's an evolution of marketplaces to be e-marketplaces, a place where you don't just go and you procure an application, but you utilize this application to do multiple things, and you can evolve into that. So the marketplace is no longer a place where you can buy an application. It should be a place where you can buy, you can sell, you can present something, you can request a service, you can follow up on those services, you can get your analytics, you can get your information, and you can get all of these different things. Not only that, the marketplace has to have an ecosystem that allows you to develop all these different applications, all these different solutions that are able to unlock the capabilities of marketplaces in the right way. So you have to have your PaaS layer, or your platform as a service layer, that allows you to integrate with different services so that you can unlock all the potential of marketplaces. One important aspect today that we see that's extremely neglected in marketplaces is the e-commerce, e-procurement functionality. Today, marketplaces are made as a one-way channel, where the buyers or the sellers put their products, and a buyer goes in and procures the product. It's a single channel kind of interface. What we envision marketplaces as seeing is for them to become omni-channel. People who buy will eventually want to sell. So today we need to build that ecosystem, and we believe marketplaces are the right place for that evolution. We believe that marketplaces are extremely well positioned to be e-commerce platforms, or what we like to call B2B marketplaces. So today, I go and I buy a service from somebody to build something for me, but eventually I'm building a service to sell it to somebody else. And we have an infinite loop around that. And that's the idea of commerce. That's the idea of retail. And not only that, today in Saudi specifically, we know that the movement of procurement and the movement of industry is pushed through government. So what if we were also able to put the public sector within that criteria? And this is where we see the evolution of marketplaces going. So it's not just individuals buying and selling, it's also companies, organizations buying and selling. And we believe marketplaces are going to evolve and support that. And that's, if we were to take an example, today we have I'timad. Who knows I'timad here? I'timad is a marketplace, or a platform, if you will, that the Ministry of Finance initiated to support in the procurement process. I'timad is following this concept, be it in a specific kind of level that is only tied to governments, but it's tied to the same conceptual aspect here. Another aspect is logistics. Today, retail, whatever service you have, if you buy something from a shop, if you want to deliver a service to a customer, what we're seeing today is there is a huge need for logistics. So we believe marketplaces need to evolve to also cater for those kind of things. Today, if I'm building a platform where buyers and sellers are there, I need to ensure that whatever goods are requested are being able to be delivered and monitored in the right way. So the evolution of marketplaces to include logistics is of the utmost importance. And we see that evolving. And logistics, of course, requires multiple things. It requires smart assignments, it requires fleet control, it requires package monitoring, all these different things. So today, we need to evolve that. Right now, we have huge entities that are able to drive this on a very niche level. But what if we open that up on a marketplace to multiple organizations? And that's where the vision of marketplace evolution lies. So this is where we're seeing the industry taking marketplaces or the industry forcing marketplaces to go. And we're evolving that. Blue Vault is our SME cloud that we've initiated in STC in cooperation with Munshaat, the SME authority. The idea of Blue Vault is very simple. It's a one-stop shop that enables local developers who have applications or who develop services to communicate with local consumers. So today, we are targeting the SME market to develop applications on Blue Vault and to consume it on Blue Vault. That's our initial vision. Following what I just mentioned about the evolution of marketplaces, we're evolving as well. We're trying to change all of that. Initially, we had a place where you go and you procure an application, similar to the Apple iTunes Store, similar to Google Play. This is what we had. And it was running very well, and it was doing things in the right way. But we noticed we had a gap, and we noticed that we had to evolve, and that's why the vision of the industry was forcing us to also adapt in our marketplace to address things in a different way. So what were we trying to do initially? We were trying to localize the data using data sovereignty. We were building applications that were niche to Saudi Arabia and to the requirements of the Saudi industry. And that's how we progressed. We've done amazingly well. The team has grown the business extremely well, and we continue to evolve it. But we were missing out on a lot of things. So today, we're missing out on involving all the e-procurement aspects, the e-purchasing aspects, the e-commerce aspects. And that's what ties us to the plan of 2019. Today, in 2019, on Blue Vault, we're running already the marketplace in its inception and the way it runs today, but we're evolving it to add e-procurement, which we hope to launch in the Q1 2019, and e-logistics, where we hope to launch that in H2 2019. Why? Because we believe everything requires these services. What's more important than that, we're building an API economy. So today, our applications are going to interconnect and intercommunicate together. So we don't have silos anymore. We don't have application A running in isolation of application B. I'll share some insights about what we faced and what normal marketplaces face today. You go into any marketplace, be it ours or be it somebody else's, and you buy an HR software. Great, that HR software is doing its job, it's wonderful. But I need to manage my finances when I pay people their salaries. So great, we had another software that had finance, accounting. Our problem was, for us to use these different softwares, we had to export data and import data. A light came up in our heads and we said, okay, this is not going to work. It might work on 2, 3 small entities, but this is not the way an organization wants to streamline their business or transform their business. That's where the idea of building an API economy for these different applications, where they can intercommunicate, came into play. And that's where something we're working on launching, hopefully in Q2 2019. So today, what we're evolving with our marketplace, we're actually bringing in a lot of local players. We're getting a lot of local developers, and we're working on addressing specific needs of the industry. So today we have some of these companies that are local companies that have developed different applications within Saudi for Saudi entities. Some of these companies have started off with us on a small scale, and they've grown to multi-million-dollar companies, One of them is actually has reached around $40 million, 40 million riyals. So we're enabling these entities to really address their market through our initiatives within Blue Vault. And we have a lot of different plethora of different applications that we continue to add to every day. Today we have these are some of the applications we have in our marketplace, and we continue to add multiple partners to provide localized solutions as we progress. Now what's very important is a lot of these partners will work with us in 2019 to do the API integration, so that we can go and we can have interconnections between these different applications. If you see, I have an HR system here. Today, it talks to itself. Tomorrow, we hope that the HR system will talk to the procurement system, will update the finance system, the accounting system will also be updated, the inventory system will be updated as per request when you have a new employee with new requirements, and so on, and everything sort of works together. Is it ambitious? Yes, but is it needed? Extremely, because working in isolation is not going to work anymore, and that's where we need to really evolve that. Now, one important aspect today is the e-commerce platform. We are working right now on an initiative, and we are working on this initiative for e-procurement to be done on our marketplace, full procurement. STC has an initiative that 15% of all of its procurement has to be from SMEs. Our e-marketplace and e-procurement concept within it is going to be a driver for SME procurement. Why? We have our anchor customer. STC will be connected here. So any entity that wants to sell to STC will be onboarded into this to streamline the purchasing process with STC, and STC can purchase from it, and it can purchase from STC specific things from it. So we're working on that. This is our anchor tenant or our anchor customer that's going to drive the e-procurement push through our e-marketplace. In addition to that, we have initiatives to integrate with I'timad. We are still, we hope that they can win into our vision and have one centralized e-procurement setup. Our plans are extremely ambitious around that. One important aspect also is bundling. So today, we have all these different applications, and we noticed that we need to build an aspect around bundling. So we're going to be bundling a lot of these different solutions. One important aspect to notice here, some things are international player-based. Some things are local player-based. Our push and our drive is to have everything based on local application developers. We have international application developers right now for one specific reason. And that's because we don't have a solution in that niche area. Once we have a local player who is able to meet the criteria, we have no problem to replace that international player with a local player. Why? Because our push and the whole idea behind Blue Vault is not financial. It's enabling the industry of application development and our application consumption within Saudi. So our goal is more than just financial. Our goal is to really enrich this ecosystem and community. Finally, one important aspect that I touched upon is the PaaS. Today we have a platform as a service for developers to develop on our marketplace. Now, we have a lot of PaaS players within the industry, locally and globally. What we're changing within our PaaS, and why are we making it unique? We're adding features for Saudi specific in our PaaS as part of our e-services initiative. Today, anybody who has an application, if I'm going to develop an HR application, I need to integrate مع هدف, with هدف, HRDF. I need to, if I had a finance system, I need to integrate with the General Authority for Zakah and tax. Now, to do the integration part is extremely cumbersome. What we're going to be doing, and we're already launching this initiative, we're going to be building e-services to streamline the development so that developers can integrate into these services seamlessly without having to go and sit with these authorities. We're going to go and we're going to sit on their behalf. We're going to build a model. And we're going to build these services so that they can go and consume these services and they can streamline their application development as quickly as possible. In the future, if they believe they have the next unicorn, they can go and create whatever agreements they want with whatever entity. But our idea is to help them launch as quickly as possible by pre-building these e-services. And that's our idea about our vision of what's happening with e-marketplaces and how we see the evolution of marketplaces. I hope that you see this vision as something that's going to really impact the industry and the country in the right way. We are always open to any suggestions. If you have any questions, I'll be available on the side. I thank you for your time and hope you have a good day.